that. So this is just an opportunity for Representative Burr to present to us the plan that the House passed, and for us to do as you've done and point out what may be some areas that it needs to be examined, and then certainly the chairs, at the end of the meeting, and I'll just say it now, we're inviting members, whether it's individually or collectively, to present their own plans to be examined by this committee. And I think Senator Van Duyn had one. Do you have a question? I'll leave you with the last question, Senator Van Duyn, if you would like to have it.
Well, I want to ask a question, just because I'll try to be quick and I'll try to talk fast. But Representative Burr, first, thank you for your presentation. Thank you for coming to Asheville. I wish I had an opportunity to have joined you in Asheville. I would have liked to have had the benefit of hearing from my folks, how they feel about this. But you had, in your presentation, you made the statement that you heard no reason to maintain the status quo. I cannot speak to all of the districts. I can only speak to my own. And I would say that there is a good reason to maintain the status quo in Buncombe County, and that is that we have a decades-long tradition of working together, electing good judges, working with our county, with our law enforcement, with our nonprofit community. We have a family justice center, we have a DWI court, we have a veterans court, we have a drug court, we have a family court. We work well together. When I look at your maps, I see at least 5 districts that are as large or larger than Buncombe County that you have left alone, but they all have at least as many, if not more, Superior Court judges, at least as many, if not more, District Court judges, and yet you chose to break Buncombe County into 2 for electoral purposes. Those 2 districts, one of them, of our 7 District Court judges, one of those districts, by the data you've provided me today, is predominantly Democratic. It gets 3 judges. The other district is predominantly Republican. It gets 4 judges. It is difficult for me to come to any conclusion other than my county was cut in 2 for political purposes.
Do you want to respond to that, Representative Burr?
Briefly, Senator Van Duyn, as I said earlier, the intent was to have to be consistent across the state and have one policy for the urban counties, so the largest counties in the state, that they all be treated equally. That's what we have proposed to do there. We've made changes based on the discussions that I had when I traveled to Asheville to meet with your judges, and since then, as several have been down here at the legislature as we move through that process and move in those seats, and even offered to move the 4th seat out of those 7 to put that balance in that Asheville district, but some I believe turned that down, weren't interested in that, to try to make sure that we didn't have any double bunking. I think it worked best for it to be out in that outer district because there were 4 incumbent judges out there, so that would keep them all from being double bunked. So we left it that way to accommodate your judges' request.
Follow-up?
Last follow-up.
So just explain to me why my county had to be divided, my district had to be divided into 2 when so many, 10% of our counties, or 10% of our districts that are bigger than mine, didn't have to be divided.
The policy of creating sub-districts in the large urban counties is not new. As I said earlier, it's been around for 30 plus years. We're just trying to keep, in this proposal, keep a consistent policy in place for all of those urban counties. That's what I'm attempting to do. That's why Buncombe County has been incorporated in. It is one of those top 8 largest counties in the state, and so it's being treated just as the other larger counties are being treated by having those, which have had those sub-districts in place for a number of years.
Thank you, Representative Burr. Appreciate your being here today and presenting House Bill 717. So let's move on to the next portion of our agenda. be a presentation by Mr. Brad Fowler from the Administrative Offices of the Courts. Mr. Fowler, I think you have a slideshow, and the sergeants at arms are passing out a paper copy, and it should be loaded on the committee website if you would prefer to look at it on your laptop. So, Mr. Fowler, do you want to introduce yourself and then proceed?
Sure, I'm Brad Fowler. I'm with the Administrative Office of Courts and work in research, policy, and planning. I've been with ASC for about 16 years. The research, as I understand, the point of my presentation